everyone, I'm Becky.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we're talking about Gunslinger Girl by Lyndsay Ely, which is being published under James Patterson's Jimmy Patterson label, which is why it's one of the reasons it's so popular. And I got this book at Book Expo of America. So this book is about serendipity Pitty Jones, who's always planned to escape her life on the commune, where she lives under her father's rule. Pitty lives in the shadow of her mother's legacy as one of the best shooters in all of the West, before her death, which left Pitty with her controlling abusive father. Pitty thinks she is finally free when she has the opportunity to escape, but an encounter sets her on a new path where she encounters fame, fortune, and romance in a city where no one and nothing is what it appears. Gunslinger Girl is part Western, part dystopia, futuristic adventure with just a dash of romance.
It's like Annie Oakley set in
It
the future.
is. It
set
is.
in a steampunk world.
So it is. It takes place in the future after there was this big war, and they're living in the West. And Pitty's dad is basically going to give her to somebody else, like as a wife, and she runs away. And she finds like this, she's taken in by a troop of people who take her to like a city of like
lawless people, drugs, whorehouses, and seedy underbellies, gangsters.
Yes, where she like becomes like a star of their show because she can shoot things.
Now, is that considered a sideshow or like a freak show or?
I feel like it's just like a performance because like if you think about it, like Annie Oakley went around and like shot things, and it was just like part of her performance. So we both liked this book. Like we really liked this book. Like first of all, the cover is gorgeous. This is the first book. I think this might be her first book. The world building is excellent.
It is, and it's really fast paced. Like you move through it quickly. There's action on every page. There's something going on each page. And I definitely think you could give this to a guy, girl, doesn't matter. They'd find something in it because it is very interesting.
It's a good romance, but the romance isn't so much that it makes a boy not want to read it.
Because there's enough knife slicing and gun shooting that you can figure it out.
There are parts of it that are quite brutal.
Yeah, it does get pretty brutal.
And it's a violent book. So it's like more of like an older teen book than a younger teen book. But like Sarah was saying, it's a dystopian set in the West, but I don't know how you would sell this to somebody. Like, who is your ideal author? Like, your
because
audience?
It just, like, it doesn't sound as interesting, like, when you try to explain what it is. It doesn't sound as interesting, but it really is very interesting.
It's very well done.
Because you can't really, if you really kind of get into the story, then you're giving too much away, I think.
And the publisher's pushing it because it's James Patterson's other label, which is where, Stalking Jack the Ripper was published that label too, which I loved those. But I feel like they're not pushing it. Like, I think at Book Expo, they were just, like, kind of sitting out on a table, and I took one. Like, I don't think it was, like, a big drop or a big, like, the author was there.
Well, James Patterson was there. I don't know if the author for this was there.
No.
But, I mean, it's worth it, though. I really enjoyed it. I did. The only thing that really confused me, because she's called Pitty, when they start the sentences by talking about Pitty, it really confused me. And, like, even though I knew that her name was Pitty, like, it still was very hard for me to realize that they're not talking about, like, Pitty the emotion, but Pitty the character.
I didn't have that problem.
I had, like, it was really hard for me to, like, figure out what was going on, even though I knew that that was her name. I don't know.
And I liked Pitty. I liked Max, the maybe love interest. I just enjoyed the whole book. We should just rate it.
Okay. But the last thing I do want to say, it reminds me of Cinder. Like, do you get the Cinder vibe from this? Because it's like futuristic old story kind of retold, I think. It kind of reminds me of Cinder.
Maybe.
And it kind of reminds me of Moulin Rouge.
I can see Moulin Rouge, yeah.
It kind of reminds
me.
like
I can see the Moulin Rouge.
It's
if
kind of
Moulin
like,
Rouge meant the Old West.
But anyway, let's just rate it. But it really does remind me of Cinder.
And I think there's going to be a sequel, and I will read the sequel.
There better be, because it's really good, and I want to know more.
And so our rating scale starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We go down to 2 unicorns. If we do not like it, it is lame, and it is just a horse. I'm giving it 4 unicorns. I enjoyed it. It was fast. I liked the characters. I liked the story. It was different.
I'm giving it 4 unicorns as well. I enjoyed it. I know that others are going to enjoy it. It's going to be an easy book to give to other readers, and I can't wait to read the next book, so I'm totally for it.
And that is where we are on Gunslinger Girls.
So I'll see you around.
Bye.